Hello everyone, Namaste, Hare Krishna, Happy New Year. I hope you all had a great New Year day. I'll start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnanajana Chakshurunmitam Mena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Radhananda Swamiti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine. नमस्ते सरस्वते देवं गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद सिद्वैत गदाधर शिवाशदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Happy New Year again. So in our previous year 2023 we started before that we completed fifth up to six chapters. Up to five chapters we completed, and we started sixth chapter, and we are in the middle of sixth chapter. 20 verse 20 up to 20, verse 20 we covered. So I know few of you have missed a couple of classes before. So I'm going to give a quick overview of Bhagavad Gita, essence of Bhagavad Gita, and also the essence of chapter 6, what we covered so far. Okay, and we'll continue today from chapter 6, verse 20 onwards. Okay, so what is in Bhagavad Gita? What is that Krishna spoke in Bhagavad Gita? So Bhagavad Gita is considered essence of all scriptures, all Vedic literatures. Krishna extracted the essence and given to us in simple and easy format. Just 700 shlokas. We can't even imagine studying so many Vedic literatures, Vedas, Upanishads. They are so intricate and so time-taking. So, Supreme Lord, by his causeless mercy, he gave us Bhagavad Gita just in 700 verses. This encompasses everything. Whatever is in the literature, you'll see in this Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna primarily talks about these five subject matters: Jiva, Ishvara, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma, and Yoga. So about Jiva, who are we? Are we this body or are we this soul? We see ourselves in the mirror every day, but we don't even realize that we are soul. We see only our body, and most of the time we are in bodily identification. But it is said, Krishna is saying, you are not the body you see in the mirror. You are Atma, your spirit soul, which is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. We are all Atma. If we are Atma, then why don't we realize that we are Atma? Because we are covered by so-called Maya, ignorance, Maya. It is said in scriptures that soul is all knowledgeable. Soul is all knowledgeable, but it cannot, because it cannot recognize itself because of this influence of Maya. So that is the topic of Prakriti. Krishna talks about this material body. The body we are in is made of this Prakriti, and this Prakriti also has influence on us. The Prakriti has influence on us. But why Prakriti has its influence on us is because of karma. It is because of our own karma, either good karma or bad karma. We are influenced by this so-called Prakriti. Okay. And while living in this world, we do actions, sometimes good actions, sometimes bad actions. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes distress. It's all because of our own karmic reactions. All these are nicely, or karmic reactions. If you were to enjoy happiness, those situations are nicely created by this Prakriti, Kala and Prakriti. According to time, Prakriti and Karma and Ishvara, all are nicely connected. And this Jiva, soul, came into this world because of karma. Karma we have been doing from many lifetimes. Because of this baggage, big baggage, we have been going through this repeated cycle of birth and death, birth and death. We are taking birth as a sometimes as a human, sometimes as an animal, sometimes as a different species on Earth planet or different planet. We have been going through this repeated cycle of birth and death, birth and death, birth and death. Sometimes we get 20 years, sometimes we get one day in a life of an insect. We get only few hours, sometimes also few hours, few days, or extended years, 100 years, or more extended years in the heavenly planet. We have been going through this again and again. Since how long? The number is given like 311 trillion years, but it's still plus 311 trillion years plus unlimited. It is going through, we are going through. The creation happens again and again. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna teaches us to break the cycle of birth and death. We can break the cycle of birth and death, and we can go to a stage where we don't have to take birth again. That is by the practice of yoga. Yoga. Okay. And Krishna teaches various yogic practices: karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, bhakti yoga. Okay. So in the first 5 chapters, we'll quickly see. I'll give a quick glimpse of this in few minutes. I know it's a repetition, but more we hear, it sticks with us. Okay? If you're learning Bhagavad Gita, if you're hearing Bhagavad Gita again and again, and even after many years of study also, if we don't clearly get the essence, it's not quite helpful. So that's the reason. So I'm going to give the essence again and again many times. So this essence of Bhagavad Gita in few minutes, this essence will retain with us. The knowledge of essence will be with us. Okay. So in first 6 chapters, Krishna talked about karma yoga. Karma means action. Yoga means a path, a process. Many people think doing our duty is karma yoga. Taking care of family or going to job is a karma yoga. But that is wrong. Krishna clearly says that is karma only. That is karma only. That karma will create reaction. If you do good actions, taking care of family, that is a good action, will get good reaction. That is all the nice facilities will be given to us. If you do a adharmic action, hurting someone, killing someone, other species will get karmic reactions. Karmic reactions. Because of karmic reactions, we have to suffer. Okay, those are all still karma only. These are karma only. Karma yoga is different. Karma yoga is different. A karma plus gnana has to happen. Karma plus gnana has to happen. Otherwise, it's just karma only. So what is the gnana? So we are doing all the work every day. But Krishna is saying, you do with this consciousness, with this mindset, three things has to happen. Our actions should have three things in place. Three things, that is, we have to do our action as a selfless service to the Lord for the pleasure of the Lord without expectation of result. We don't know the result. Result is not in our hands. Let God decide. Leave it to the Lord. And without attachment to result of our action. If we are successful, if we are attached to the result, I want to be successful again and again, will become egoistic and proud. So that is how we have been contaminating our mindset from many lifetimes. Many lifetimes. So Krishna teaches us karma yoga. Arjuna wants to run away from the battlefield. Krishna teaches, okay, you have to do your action, but do with this mindset. Attach three things to it. Then you can joyfully work. You can happily work. Many times we see work is a burden. We hate the work, or we hate the people who is giving work, or we hate ourselves. This happens in anything we do. Taking care of children also this happens. Taking care of our family members, are doing our job for salary also, we see the work to be a troublesome, a burden. When Krishna teaches us this principle, when we apply this principle, we can happily work without any disturbance. Our mind is always negative. It says like, why am I doing this? Why this is happening? When we apply this gnana, this knowledge, like three things, you can take a screenshot of this. It's very important. Three things has to be applied. So three things has to be applied. When we work not for ourselves, Krishna is saying work for Krishna. Why? If we work for ourselves, we think we are the cause. It is because of me only it is happening. If we run into problems, we get totally dejected. We go into depression because of thinking we are the only doer. And Krishna is saying, don't worry too much about it. Just do as a service to me, as an offering to me. Be neutral to success or failure. Then you can happily work. Okay. So the result of karma yoga is one attains purification of mind. Come out of this ahankara and mamakara. Come out of this I and my zone. When the mind is purified, consciousness is purified. With that purified mind, one can go to next steps. That is Ashtanga Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. Krishna talks about Dhyana and Ashtanga Yoga in 6th chapter. And he spends more time in Bhakti Yoga. Because that is very much practical. We can take a Bhakti Yoga and practice Bhakti Yoga. It is easily possible. Because this message was given towards the end of Dwapar Yuga or beginning of Kali Yuga. In this age of Kali Yuga, lifespan is short. Our ability to control mind is also less. It's hard. People cannot even control. Our remembrance is also less. It is given in Bhagavatam. So for that people, Krishna has given this simple process, Bhakti Yoga. Because Ashtanga Yoga takes many lifetimes to attain perfection. One has to sit and meditate for many lifetimes. One lifetime, many lifetimes. But in the case of Bhakti Yoga, if one takes up the process of Bhakti Yoga and practices, it is guaranteed that he can break the cycle of birth and death. He can attain the Supreme Lord. He can attain moksha. So for one to do Bhakti Yoga, one has to know to whom the Bhakti has to be performed. Who is the object of meditation? Krishna teaches me, himself. The object of meditation is Krishna. When we meditate on Krishna, the process in Bhakti Yoga is easier and faster. So for us to meditate on Krishna, we need to know the greatness of Krishna, who God is, how great the God is. If you want to love, or if I want to love my dad, if I want to love my dad, I need to know all the greatness of my dad, my father. If I know my father is such great person, I naturally get attached or attracted towards that father, my father. So same thing, Krishna spoke everything about himself, how great he is. When we know the greatness of the Supreme Lord, we get attached to the Supreme Lord. We love the Supreme Lord. Krishna says, Manmana bhava madbhaktyo madhyajima namaskuru. Always think about me, always meditate upon me. Then you can attain me. That is a subject matter in the second half of Bhagavad Gita, that is Bhakti Yoga chapters. And throughout the end, towards the end, from 12 to 18, Krishna talks about all the things he has spoken before in detail, about the soul, the Prakriti, how the Prakriti works, how the Prakriti influences us, how we get trapped by this so-called Prakriti, and how to get out of this Prakriti. Krishna talks about that in detail. And again, finally, towards the end, Krishna says, looking at Arjuna, Arjuna clearly understood everything now. This message is being spoken to Arjuna. Arjuna clearly understood. And he is trying to figure out what process to take. Krishna spoke Karma Yoga, Krishna spoke Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. And Arjuna felt all these processes incompatible. He cannot perform. It is hard for him. Looking at Arjuna, Krishna says one more thing. Arjuna, don't think you can liberate by yourself. Don't think you can attain moksha by any of the practices. You can attain moksha by surrendering unto me alone. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Ahantam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami masachaha. That is a Charma Shloka of Bhagavad Gita. That is a conclusive message. Krishna says, you take a Bhakti Yoga, surrender to me, and always meditate upon me, think about me, follow the practice. Ahantam sarva papebhyo. I'll remove all your sins, all the past life sins. I'll clean up, I'll nullify. Mamekam sharanam vraja. You surrender unto me alone. Don't diverge yourself in many paths. You come to me alone, take exclusive surrender, take shelter of me. Then I can remove your sins. Moksha Ishyami Masacha. Krishna boldly declaring, I will give you moksha. I will give you moksha. I will give you liberation. You will come to me. That is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, conclusive message of Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of reading Bhagavad Gita is not just stress management, time management. Those are all included. But the real purpose is to know the path to attain moksha. What is the process to attain liberation, to break the cycle of birth and death? We have been going through this repeated cycle of birth and death. the solution to that problem is given. Krishna spoke. That is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. That's why Bhagavad Gita is called Moksha Yoga. Moksha Shastra. Bhagavad Gita is called Moksha Shastra. Means that literature which talks about liberation, how to attain liberation. Okay. So before we go into this chapter 6 overview, maybe I'll take a quick pause and see if you have any questions.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So one thing that you mentioned is in this yuga, ability to control the mind is less in comparison to the other yugas, Prabhu.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In general itself, it's not I mean, it's a very difficult thing to control the mind, but even more in this yuga.
Yeah, yeah. Because the circumstances around us, the nature, circumstances, people, and there's
Yes,
so
sir.
many distractions around us. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse in upcoming ages to come.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'll give an overview of this Dhyana Yoga. We completed up to verse 20 and we'll continue from 20 onwards. In first 5 chapters, Krishna talked about Karma Yoga, art of working, how one should work. I'm repeating that again. One has to work as a selfless service to the God, offering the result to the God, be neutral to success or failure. Then he can happily work and he can come out of this ahankara mamakara, I and my zone, and he can progress to he has 2 paths now. He can progress further. He has 2 paths. One is the path of Ashtanga Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. So sixth chapter, Ashtanga Yoga, Krishna says you can take up this path if you want to have an adventure ride for yourself. Because this is not an easy path, but this is given in the scriptures or Shastras or Vedas, Upanishads. They talk about this path is also a valid path, but it is quite difficult in the Kali Yuga. That's why Krishna did not spend much time on that. He gave brief, he spoke about this in brief, in short. More details can be found in Patanjali Yoga Shastras and many literatures. Okay. So once we have the purification of mind by practice of Karma Yoga, Krishna further goes on and says you can take up the path of Ashtanga Yoga, but in the path of Ashtanga Yoga, one has to sit like this, sit like this and meditate and practice. There is an obstacle, we can't do this. Our body doesn't support. First of all, we can't even sit today. In this current generation now, we can't even sit on the floor. We have to sit on table or chair, right? So, yeah, we can't even sit on the floor. So one has to sit on the floor. On the Krishna talks about what to put, how to sit. We covered those shlokas, right? One has to sit on the floor correctly with body erect and control the mind and senses. Because mind is a friend and mind is also an enemy. If the mind attached to material things, attracted to material things, hankering for material things, yoga is not possible. Such a person cannot progress in yoga or spirituality or anything. So Krishna says, mind is a friend, mind is also an enemy. If you can control your mind, pull back your mind towards spirituality, towards the God, towards meditation, any practice, then you're called a yogi. So, in the path of the pursuit of Ashtanga Yoga, the obstacle is mind. One has to work on the mind and bring the mind under control and focus on the self Atma. So this practice, it takes one lifetime or many lifetimes. Krishna doesn't say that, but this is also a valid path. One has to fix his mind and meditate on the self. It may take many lifetimes. One can visualize his own self, Atma. By such practice, one can visualize his Atma, and he can also visualize Paramatma. It's a two-step process. One is Atma realization, next is Paramatma realization. Then after hearing this, Arjuna says, Krishna, I can control the wind. If wind is blowing from here to there, I can control and stop the wind. I cannot control the mind. It is hard for me. Whatever you are saying, it is practically impossible for me. I cannot do this. And Krishna says, practice. You practice, then you can control your mind. While practicing, you need to add one more thing, that is detachment. Detach yourself from worldly things. Then you can concentrate and meditate. You can control the mind. Arjuna thought, okay, Krishna, if I take up this path, what if I do not attain perfection? What if I make only 5% of progress and die? Arjuna had these questions in mind and he asked. Then Krishna says, if you do not attain perfection, if you made little bit progress, no loss. You can attain heavenly planet, you can enjoy there nicely, and you'll come back and you start over. And Arjuna also asked another question. What if I attain 80% perfection and if I die? What happens to such a person? He makes good progress. Krishna says, no problem. The person will be given birth again immediately. Human body, nice facilities, where he can progress or continue from where he left off. From 81 onwards, 81 percentage onwards, he can continue and I can attain perfection. Again, looking at Arjuna's face, Krishna understood this is not going to work for Arjuna. This so-called Ashtanga Yoga doesn't work for Arjuna. Then Krishna says, of all the yogic practices, Bhakti Yoga is so simple, easy. You can take up this practice. And Krishna talks about Bhakti Yoga in the 7th chapter onwards to 12th chapter. That is 6th chapter in a nutshell. So we'll go on to the verses for today. So in the previous verses, we covered various processes of Ashtanga Yoga, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, all those things. There is a process step by step. That is fun. One has to have good control over mind and senses. Again, these details are these are high level. We should not think like I'll become like that. Okay, Krishna is talking about the person who is at the highest stage, one who has attained perfection in the Ashtanga Yoga practice. Thinking about Ashtanga Yoga itself is hard. How can we think about attaining perfection in Ashtanga Yoga? Right? So that's fine. Just for our awareness, we can learn this. So this is Krishna is going to talk about in these 20 to 23 verses about the person who has attained perfection in Ashtanga Yoga practices. How he looks like. So his consciousness completely restrained from material mental activities. He's totally fixed on his Atma. One can see the self by pure mind and be satisfied with it. You can see this person, yogi, is sitting here. One can visualize his own Atma. He can experience his self, Atma. One gets boundless spiritual bliss by spiritual intelligence, not material senses. When the yogi in this position, when he is visualizing himself, he attains ultimate bliss. Ultimate bliss. One is never deviated from the truth of one's spiritual nature. He realized here himself. Having obtained this, he thinks there is nothing greater gain. So now that he visualized his own self, that is not the body. For him, there is nothing material things to achieve. Situated in full determination, one is never shaken, even in greatest difficulty. He is fully situated in this position, nicely relishing his Atma. Okay. Krishna spoke about this. We can't picture ourselves being in this position. It is hard, but it's good to know because it's given in Shastras. For us, Bhakti Yoga is there. I'm trying to say this again and again because we should not think that Bhagavad Gita is hard to practice. Certain practices are hard, certain practices are easy. Okay, that is a message. So this practice is little hard, but we'll know what if you know the pain of one practice. When we know the other practice, when we practice, when we look at other practice, how it is. If you know the pain in the practice one, when we look at the practice two is so easy. Then we'll get easily attached to the practice too. Okay, so anyway, so Krishna is saying in this verse about the person who is at the highest stage of Ashtanga Yoga. Okay, so this yoga, so-called yoga, can be practiced only in human form of life. It is not available in other species. There are 8.4 million species: cat, dog, elephants, and so many species. Even the demigods also. They're also in a human body only, but higher body. But only the yoga is possible in human form of life, not in other form of life. So the purpose of human life is to do yoga, to attain perfection. Okay. So we have two paths: Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. So this is a practice. Krishna is saying Ashtanga Yoga practice. In our life, every day we experience happiness. Every day we experience happiness, right? We look at some nice thing, we experience joy. When we taste nice food, we experience joy. So any actions we do through senses, we experience joy, happiness. But it is said in scriptures, the happiness which is derived from the self, Atma. If a person realizes the Atma, it is called Ananda. Ananda, bliss, ultimate bliss. That bliss is no way compared to any happiness we get by material things. It's a spiritual happiness. One can experience that happiness in the perfection stage of Ashtanga Yoga. Or Bhakti Yoga also, one can experience that happiness. Okay, life lesson. Seek the one achievement that misery cannot reach. Our entire life, we are running towards achieving a thing, running towards achievement. But we are not satisfied. We want to achieve more. Our misery is not ended. So one has to seek one achievement that misery cannot reach. That is the achievement of the spiritual world, Vaikuntha, where there is no misery. That is liberation. So Krishna talked about the highest stage of a self-realized soul. Now from here on, Krishna talks about the practice. What are the practices? So what are the methods to attain that stage? Okay, I know this subject matter is little dry, but just for understanding, we can learn. Okay, so Krishna says from 24 to 25, practice. Practice with determination, nischayena, without deviation, anirvanena chetasa. Okay, and give up all material desires born of mental speculation, kamamas tyaktva, controlling all these senses on all sides by the mind. Final stage, gradually coming to trance through intelligence sustained by full conviction, and thus fix the mind on self alone, thinking of nothing else. So Krishna is giving the practice. That is, practice is Krishna is saying, practice it. You sit and meditate on your Atma, fully focused with determination. So we'll talk about why practice is needed. We'll talk about one thing. One is practice and determination. Okay. It is clear, anything we want to achieve in this world, we need practice. If I want to be a good tennis player, I want practice. If I want to be a good IT professional, I need to practice. If I want to be a good chef, I need to practice it. Practice cooking, then I'll be a good chef. So practice is essential, integral part of our life. We can't avoid the practice. But while practicing, one has to have determination also. If the determination is strong, then he is totally convinced and he can make quick progress while practicing. If a person's determination is weak, if a person wants to become a good tennis player, right, he has to go practice and he has to be fully determined. Yes, I want to be the best tennis player. If his determination is weak, uh, who cares? Today I'll go, tomorrow I'll not go. Okay, I still pay, but I'll not go. Right? So this happens to us in our life also. New Year, we'll take New Year resolutions. Yes, this New Year, I will go to gym. I'll build muscles. will 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 pay for the entire year with strong conviction. But if the determination is weak, we cannot continue. One day we'll go, 2 days we'll go, and we'll stop. Then again we'll realize after, oh, I paid so much, let me go. After 3 months, again we'll go. Again we go and we discontinue because of weak determination. So practice needs a determination, strong determination. In the material things, it's okay, no problem. If the determination is weak, we may not succeed in material things, but it's still okay. But in spiritual realization, to break the cycle of birth and death, to attain moksha, one has to have strong determination, unwavering determination, unwavering determination. I want to attain moksha in this lifetime. I will practice as Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. That determination takes us to the Supreme Lord. So determination, one has to practice anything. Here Krishna is talking about Ashtanga Yoga, but even in Bhakti Yoga, also one has to have good practice with determination, without any deviation. Okay. So now I'm practicing with determination. And Krishna adds one more thing here, that is material desires. If I want to build up good strong muscles, I paid some money to gym, right? I paid what are the fee for the entire year I paid. I'm determined, but I still have the desire to eat so many junk food, which is not even needed while doing the gym, right? If I want to build strong muscles, then I have to have good diet. If I have material desires to enjoy through senses, I'm gonna ruin my body. Then that doesn't help. The practice, while practicing, one also have to give up something. Give up the material desires. Give up the material desires, which is not conducive to spirituality. So one has to give up the material desires. And one has to have good control of mind and senses. So then we can, any yoga, we can easily practice. So in the final stage, Krishna is saying, yeah, if a person doing this practice, I'm relatively comparing both Ashtanga Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. You may see the differences. But in case of here, Ashtanga Yoga, to practice like this, sitting like this, like a yogi in this picture. So one has to have good determination without any material desires, having fully fixed his mind and senses and fixing the mind onto the Atma alone. Such a person can come to the higher stage. So determination comes from the conviction that the prize is greater than the price. If you want to be really determined, we have to have strong conviction. Conviction about what? The result, the prize. If you really have strong conviction about the result, I'm gonna attain the Supreme Lord. Right? My focus is on the result. I'm gonna attain the Supreme Lord. I can attain moksha. Then my conviction is really, my determination will be strong. I need to be really convinced about this path. Okay. So I'll quickly move on. So nice verses are coming. I'll show nice videos also in coming verses. I'll ask someone to read this.
यथा यथा यतो यतो निश्चलति मनश्चञ्चलम् अस्थिरं ततस्ततो नियम्यैतद् आत्मानि एव वसन्नयेत्. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self.
Thank you, Prabhu. So for a yogi, in case of Ashtanga yogi, I showed the picture like this, right? This person who's sitting here. One has to have good control of mind and senses. And if the mind is wandering, one has to bring it back. Bring the mind back towards self, Atma. That is a practice Krishna is saying. Okay. And Krishna is also saying few things about the mind, the attributes or the properties of the mind. Manaha means mind. Nischalati chanchalam, flickering and unsteady. Why the mind is unsteady? Why the mind is flickering? Mind generates thoughts, so many thoughts. We look at something, we'll look at something and the thought is generated in our mind. I look at the face of Arun. I look at, yeah, this is Arun, and I'll get repeated thoughts about Arun, right? So yeah, that is our senses. Through senses in contact with sense object. Sense object is Arun here. I look at Arun, sense object, mind generates a thought, right? So that's how through various senses in our body, we get various thoughts. And there are thousands of thoughts get generated in our mind every day. And mind always runs. Everybody had experience. I know, I'm sure everybody would have had experience. If you try to sit in a meditation like this, just for 5 minutes. Where is our mind? When we look at our thoughts, that is where we are thinking, our mind is. And we are sitting silent and see what kind of thoughts are coming. That's where my mind is. That means I'm thinking about those things in my life. If I'm thinking about some enjoyment things, or I'm thinking about something to watch, something to do, those thoughts come again and again, again and again. So I'm thinking too much about that, right? So a yogi person is meditating, mind wanders, but he has to bring it back. What happens if you let mind wander? Right? If you let the mind wander, what happens? We'll be lost. We'll be totally lost. We can't do anything even while working. Even on this happens, like in our office also we have Zoom calls with people. It appears that some people are really listening, but they're not listening. Their body present, mind absent. They're thinking something else. After 5 minutes, 10 minutes, they ask the question like, "Can you repeat? What did you say? Can you repeat?" That means he's not listening. He's thinking something else. His mind is somewhere else. He's lost. So thoughts come into our mind. When you start thinking about it, those multiply. Those get multiplied. It starts with one thought. It multiplies many thoughts. Right? I'm working here. If I look at a WhatsApp message, I got distracted by a WhatsApp message. And my friend sent me a meme, latest meme, whatever the latest meme is. Now I look at it and I get distracted. I try to search in Google. I try to think more about that. That means I'm not present in the present moment. I'm lost. Right? So the control is Krishna's thing. You bring it back. Bring it back. And some important things here is like, we are used to a taste. We are used to a certain things that gives happiness, right? If the mind distracts for material things, it's okay. But when mind distracts for material thing, spiritual things or spiritual practice, the practice of meditation, dhyana yoga, or the practice of bhakti yoga, when mind wanders, that's a problem. That's a really problem. So one has to give the higher taste. The how one gets higher taste by practice only. By continuous practice, tell the mind, this is highest thing for you. Don't run for many things. This is what you need. When we tell our mind, bring the mind under control, then we can quickly progress. We'll release the higher taste by the practice of bhakti yoga, dhyana yoga. So it is also said that chanting the holy names of the Lord. If a person has trouble controlling the mind and senses, one can take the path of bhakti yoga that involves chanting the holy name of the Lord. It's a magic you can see. I can't express by words, but one has to experience it by chanting the holy names of the Lord, by doing quick kirtan of the holy names of the Lord. If the divine energy flows into our consciousness, everything is automatically controlled. We will be in the pure state, mode of goodness. I have been talking so much, so let's watch a nice video.
Sometimes our mind wanders. And when we snap back to reality, we have no idea what we missed or how long we were gone. Daydreaming isn't the only thing that causes this inattention blindness. When we talk on the phone while driving, there are periods when we go blind to our environment without realizing it. So billboards, cars, kids playing, even stop signs and red lights can pass us by unnoticed. Certain things may seem harmless, But uh, some activities just aren't safe to combine. Our brain is not wired to pay attention to more than one complex task at a time. What we're actually doing when we think we're multitasking is quickly shifting our focus from one activity to another. So while our mind is engaged in applying makeup, arguing with backseat drivers, fumbling for a water bottle, or a conversation, it's blind to the road. In fact, drivers are 4 times more likely to crash while talking on the phone and 23 times more likely while texting. Driving can feel uneventful, but it really takes our full attention to keep the car on the road. We're surrounded by distractions that can hijack our focus. Whether we let them is up to us.
So that was a video made for distracted mind. When the mind is distracted while driving, what happens? So Krishna is also saying the same thing while practicing yoga, meditation. When the mind gets distracted, you bring it back. While driving, when mind gets distracted, looking at phone or some boats, if you do not bring it back, we'll be in trouble. So even for material things also, like even for daily living also, one has to have good control of mind and senses. Bring the mind back. What is important for me? Not get lost in many things. So same thing for practice of bhakti yoga. If a person wants to advance in bhakti yoga also, God gives the strength for us to progress further. All we need to do is totally depend on Krishna. Let me talk about few more things about distracted mind. So what are other factors involved? The mind is so distracted. It is because of excessive rajas. Rajas is rajoguna. That is mode of passion. Mode of passion. Mode of passion is because of our lifestyle, the way we live, the food we eat. Krishna talks about in later chapters what food creates mode of passion. If the food is spicy, too spicy, all extra masala, all heavy things, and irregular habits, irregular eating habits, irregular working habits, one will be in mode of passion and ignorance. Because of mode of passion and ignorance, like mind is totally distracted. We can't focus on anything. Forget about spirituality. Even day-to-day material living is also becomes hard if we are not in the mode of goodness. I repeat, if you are not in the mode of goodness, even our day-to-day life is also a problem. So to come to the mode of goodness, the yoga is needed. Yoga is the path of dhyana yoga, meditation. If a person is not interested in God, bhakti, no problem. He can at least do this dhyana yoga, have good control of mind and senses. That will help him in his life. If a person is really interested in bhakti and devotion, bringing God in his life, it's easy. He can take up the bhakti yoga and he can quickly advance. And he'll come to the mode of goodness and also Shuddha Sattva. He experiences the bliss by the practice of bhakti yoga. We'll watch one more video. These are some nice video. So let me stop the screen and share this video. So these videos we show to the youth group while teaching. Can you all see? Or Anyone confirm?
Yes, Prabhu.
You can see, right? Okay. Okay, we'll end the session here. So that video about when we act on a thought, when the thought comes, first thought comes in our mind, when we go deep into that, those multiply, multiply into 2, 4, 10, unlimited, we'll be totally lost. When we stop the first thought itself, not letting the mind go, then we can fully focus. Okay, so wherever the mind goes, bring it back. That was a shloka in the verse. Okay, it's already 7:34. I'll stop here. Thank you all very much for attending the session today. Please feel free to share your thoughts and realizations. Thank you all. Hare Krishna. We'll continue our session next Wednesday, same time, 6:30 p.m. Thank you. I'll stop the recording.